Today's opening trap has an 89% win rate, and it's a surprisingly easy one. We start off with e4, e5, so this is just the most played moves here. And we're gonna go for the knights out, and it's after the Spanish or the Ruy Lopez, however you wanna call it. And we're gonna go out with the two knights. This is called the Berlin defense. And you might think, okay, usually the Berlin defense is used for white to get a quick draw at the Grandmaster level. But it turns out you can actually get a quick win as well. Probably not at Grandmaster level, but definitely at lower levels. And definitely at slower games. But like I said, it has an 89% win rate. So let's dive in. After white castles, this is just a normal Berlin position. You might think, okay, this pawn is hanging, but that's actually just a theoretical line. So this is played a lot in the Berlin. But what we can actually play here instead of taking the pawn is knight g4. And this just looks stupid, right? Our knight is not attacking anything. These pawns are defended. So what is the knight doing? So the most played move here by white is to just kick out the knight and say, okay, what is the knight doing? And actually it's even the best move. So yeah, nothing wrong with playing h3. But here you can already tell by the title, it's a fishing pole trap. So we're just gonna play h5. Which is a brilliant move because we're just hanging our knight, not really hanging it, because taking it is a mistake. But actually that's a mistake that almost everybody makes. And it's not just a mistake, it's pretty much a losing mistake. Yeah, so let's dive in. They're gonna take, don't get me wrong, it's not the best trap if they don't take, but like I said, everybody takes here, so especially in bullet, just use this trap. After they take, we're gonna take back, and you might already see the idea. The h file is open, they need to move their knight. They don't really need to, in fact, it's best if they don't. But the most played move is to move it. So let's say they move it to e1, which is not the most played move, but just to show the idea behind the trap. We can go to h4 with the queen. And we're just threatening checkmate here. And yeah, there's just no way to stop it. One thing to know is that if they push the pawn, they do create an escape square for the king. So if we are too quick and we start giving checks, the king actually gets away. And it's still winning at this point, but you're not gonna checkmate. But the easiest is just to push g3. Now the king has no escape square because the pawn is covering that, and mate is unstoppable. They can delay it by one more move by giving up the queen, but yeah, it's just checkmate. Going back, the most played move here is knight h2. And the beautiful thing about this trap is that it's just really simple to remember, because we're gonna play the same move. It's queen h4, and now we're attacking the knight, which would actually be checkmate as well. And yeah, engine, after you let it think for a while, already says this is made in 11. And even if you don't find the made in 11, it's still completely winning. Because this idea of attacking the knight is just too strong. He can't defend the knight. The best thing he can do is to play f4. And here the best is actually not to take the knight, but even if you were to do so, you're still completely winning. But best is... oh, sorry, not f3, but f4. f3 is actually the most played move, which leads to a quicker mate, but I'm going to show you the slowest mate. And again, the idea is the same. We're going to play g3, just like you saw in the order variation. And yeah, here there's basically nothing they can do. If they move the knight, this is checkmate. Notice how the king can't escape because of the pawn again. So the only try they have is to bring the rook up, basically saying that if we take the knight, the king can now start running. And after that, it's important, although again, you're completely winning if you don't find it, to bring your knight into the attack. You just have the need of a little more attacking power before you can deliver the checkmate. And yeah, if they play a quiet move like this, it's already checkmate here. Notice how the knight is covering this square and the pawn is covering this square. So they need to create an escape for the king. So what they usually do is go king e1. That's actually the only move to delay checkmate. Because after we check, they can block with the rook. So instead, we're not going to check, we're going to take this one. And now this is a big threat. So they need to prevent it with rook f1. And we can still bring in the rook here. Doesn't matter if they played rook e1. We are threatening checkmate here now, or with the rook. Doesn't matter how. Only way for them to defend is with the queen. But if you notice, we can just take the queen here. And it's a mate in 5 from this position. But if you don't find it, you've just won a queen. So yeah, you're gonna have an easy game from this. Just to show you the checkmate from here. The longest variation from the engine, because usually white isn't gonna play these optimal moves. He's gonna take here with a rook. Now notice if we take back, they're gonna take our knight, and probably the king escapes after that. Although, yeah, that's just so much going on that even then we're probably still winning. But easiest is just to bring the knight back. We're not threatening this because the bishop is still defending. But the best move here is, let's actually see what the engine says. It's changing its mind now. Yeah, there's 2 moves basically. So knight c3 is a move. Yeah, we've just moved the knight away so it can be taken. So now we can take the rook. And after bishop f1, which is the only move. Let's see what the engine says. It's queen. It's just g2, and we're threatening to checkmate like this. And yeah, it's getting close now. They can't really do anything. It doesn't really matter what move they play here. So yeah, the engine says d3. It's just a random move basically because they're just stuck. They can't do anything. And we can actually take and promote to a queen. And yeah, the king only has 1 square. And we have various checkmates here. I think there's only 2. So yeah, let me actually check. Yeah, so queen e1 is checkmate. When I don't see anything else, then queen takes f4, which is also checkmate. But yeah, probably this one is easiest to find. So yeah, and like I said, all the way back, after you've won the queen, it's basically over. And even before that, I mean, that king is just so weak. You're gonna win this game. And yeah, it's just a really easy trap because all you do is just bring out your knights, go to g4, they're gonna attack it, you're gonna defend with your pawn, which is actually a defense because after they take the knight, you're just losing. Best for them here is to actually just ignore the knight, but yeah, you're still having an easy game. All these strats are still there, and yeah, there's a lot to analyze here. So if you really want to play this, just analyze this position as well. But in my opinion and my experience, they're gonna move the knight here pretty much always. So especially because if they knew this was a mistake, they wouldn't have played it here. So if they play this, they don't know this variation, and yeah, they're just gonna move the knight. So yeah, I'm hoping you're trapping a lot of people with this one as well. I'd like to hear if you did, so let me know. And for now, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.